Recording in progress.
And good evening, everybody. I'm actually going to be talking a little bit about Jainism and the Kabbalah on creation. Esoteric musings about the realm. Just going to give it just a moment to play this great song from Blue Ranch. So what it says is, it says Jain cosmology attempts to describe the shape and size of the universe within a spiritual belief system. And how, what does it say, and how does that harmonize with our spirit, is kind of my question here. So here's just a little basic Jain doctrine, okay? Basically, the Jain doctrine postulates an eternal and ever-existing world, which works on universal natural laws. So it also omits the existence of a creator. So there's no creator, and the world was always in existence. According to Jains, the universe has a firm and unalterable shape, which is measured in the Jain text by a means of unit called Rajlak, which is supposed to be very, very large. It's supposed to be really big. But they actually have a measurement for the universe, not the Earth realm, the entire universe. And some of them say that it's 14 Rajlaks high and extends 7 Rajlaks from north to south. How much? How big is a Rajlak, you might ask? And I thought you might ask that, and I had that question too. And so there actually is you can actually figure this out if you want to. I did not do the math, just because I didn't feel like going through the key here, but essentially what a Rajlak is, it's measured by motion, not by distance and time. It's measured by motion. And a Rajlak is the distance traveled in 6 months by a ball of iron weighing 25 pounds. If it were allowed to freely fall from heaven, just boop, drop it down and let it fall for 6 months, and that's 1 Rajlak, which I think is fascinating that it's actually measured by motion, because I actually think that that really makes sense with the universe is actually in motion. There's a frequency vibrating all around us. And I like this too, because it could be both, right? A distance traveled by a deva, a heavenly being, in 6 months at a rate of 2,057,152 yojan in 1 samay. And a samay is a unit of time equal to about a quarter second. So if anybody wants to sit down and figure that out, let me know what it is in the comments or send me a message somehow. But yeah, there you have it. According to Jainism, that's the measurement of the universe and shape of it. Here's kind of what the model looks like, and you'll see some familiar ideas in here. Basically like a heaven up here. This is the home of liberated beings. These are the realms of the gods. And right here in the center, that looks like it's got a little dome on top. This is the middle level. This is the realm of humans. This is where we live. And then below it are the realms of hellish beings. Lokakash is space, but it's important to denote that space contains all the elements of life. So those elements are the Jain elements of life: soul, jiva; matter, pudgala; medium of motion is dharma; medium of rest is adharma; space is akasha; and time is kala. And these 6 substances exist all the time, and it's basically the light, the consciousness that brings them life. If you look here, you've got different vibrational levels from these hellish beings, all the way up to the world in which we live inside of, not on the outside of, but according to Jain cosmology, inside of, and then above the realms of the heavens. And as you can see, this is all depicted inside of a man wearing a dress, and the dress is the shape of all the Lokakasha, the shape of the heavens. It's almost like a sound wave turned sideways. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what it looks like, and we'll be talking about that on the Big Skinny when we do our Earth model reveal. Now, interesting thing too, and I don't want to get all the way into breaking down every single point of this, but this is the Jain cosmic wheel of life, of time, excuse me. The things that I want to point out that are interesting is it kind of puts a focal and a center point in a circle, and there's this motion going around it. And this is sort of the consciousness, sort of where we live. And the motion that happens in our world is not the world moving itself, like NASA would say. Rather, it is everything moving around us. The sun, the moon, the stars, all moving around us, and they're all following a cycle of something. And it should be self-evident they're all following a cycle, because the seasons follow. The 12 different zodiacs fall across. I mean, so it's all following a cycle. And I actually came up with some similar things for my realm idea before I saw this. So that's why I liked it, because it's one of those things I'm like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense. Now that brings me to Einstoff in the Kabbalah. So Einstoff, Einstoff, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this. What this is the actual perceivable attributes of the Creator in this world that we live in. And so what my thought is, my belief here is in the Bible where God said, let there be light. And then he later created the sun, that this is the light that was created, and that light is actually consciousness. And all consciousness really is just light perceiving light. The sun, I think, is a reflection of that light. So are the moon and the stars. We'll get into that. But the concept of Einstoff, it sounds similar. Sounds familiar. It harmonizes with the Jain concept of life. Now, there's an interesting thing too that they share in common, is the belief that the universe is ever existing, that there wasn't a creator. I'm sorry, it wasn't a creation date. So both Jainism and Kabbalah recognize existence as ever existing, no end and no beginning. Over here on the right, we have the Seraphot, and these are attributes of God. It starts with Ketur, although that's taken out of some exoteric explanations. Ketur is the attribute that we share in common with creation. This would be our internal connection to the light. This is what I think the New Testament says when Jesus says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, and your soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. I think that is the Ketur. The first commandment says, thou shalt have no gods before me. I think keeping that connection to the Creator, that is the Ketur. That is what you lose and can lose. And we can talk about how we're going to lose that or can lose that. That's not stuff that we get censored on YouTube, so I won't talk about it here. But there'll be other opportunities for us to have those discussions in the future. But both Jainism and Kabbalah recognize existence as ever existing with no end and no beginning, which is counter to what I think most exoteric Christians would say, where in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and the Old Testament is Jewish, so how can you say that Kabbalah recognizes the ever existing essence? And I will say, because I think the correct interpretation of it, and I have this in some of my other videos and have the explaining as to why, but I think the correct interpretation of Genesis 1:1 is, instead of in the beginning, I think it is out of the ever existing essence. And I think that that's just been lost to us through language. In the beginning.
Ask what the Great Conjunction is. What's the Great Conjunction? The Great Conjunction is the end of the world. Or the beginning.
Or the beginning.
And begin, all the same. Big change. Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Sometimes good, sometimes bad. End, begin, all the same. Big change. It's interesting too what Agra looks into there. It reminds me of this Catholic item where you can look in and see Jesus, and it also is the pyramid, and it's also Kabbalah symbolism in it as well, and esoteric symbolism. And so I think that is, part of some of the knowledge that's hidden from us. The book of Genesis is taken from Jewish scripture, though the major difference is the creation story. And I think that to my Christian Bible believing friends, I think that you should consider what I'm saying and consider whether or not you really believe that there was a beginning Big Bang and God created everything, or if it was already existing and it was intention spoken into the frequency of the eternal essence that began it all. I think that's what scientifically and spiritually harmonizes. I think that's what's true. Now, I purposely used the fake picture of the Earth, because it says in the beginning, and I wanted to highlight that I think that they're both false, that they're both untrue.
Of complexity. And so really what I'm saying is that the universe is getting its act together. It's connecting the dots. It's bringing everything into co-relationship with everything else. And somehow it does this through the production of consciousness. Consciousness is this integrative function in biology which takes data which may appear profoundly unrelated and in fact brings it into some kind of a congruent relationship. We say an organism coordinates a point of view. Well, in a way, what's happening over time is that the universe is coordinating a point of view. And as it does this, it becomes somehow more aware, more self-conscious.
The universe is coordinating a point of view, and somehow it becomes more self-aware. Understanding our realm as ever existing, no end and no beginning, is the first step in seeing creation. Connecting the dots of reality is fundamental in nature. Jain cosmology and Kabbalistic Judaism have a few things in common, but one of the main things would be the eternal nature of existence. And to me, this seems to harmonize with my inner sense, so I likely believe that there is truth to it. I just think that we have an internal connection to creation, and that's an esoteric teaching that you're not going to get. Now, I showed the 10 Sephirot, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about those on one more slide here that I put together. And I'm going to play a video of exoteric Jewish teaching on the Sephirot, and it leaves out a very, very, very important aspect. And I think it's very interesting, actually, that it leaves it out. But I'm gonna let you guys check it out here.
In the beginning, God decided to do the impossible, to create a finite, diverse universe within His infinite, indivisible self. God first created the mystical Sephirot, 10 divine channels through which His infinite light could be condensed.
Okay, for starters, He said in the beginning, and then He said God was infinite, and there was a beginning. That's counter to hidden belief. It's 180 degrees turned around.
Contracted, and then released as individualized attributes that could eventually give rise to a diversity of finite creations. Let us make man in our own image, said God. No sooner said than done. Man was created in his Creator's image, with his own internal set of 10 attributes through which he operates. These 10 spiritual attributes are reflected in the physical human anatomy. Let's go through them one by one. Sephira 1, Chachma. Chachma is the initial seed of an idea, the flash of undeveloped inspiration. It enables us to be creative, spiritual, transcendent. Sephira 2, Bina. Bina is the development of ideas. It enables us to be logical, analytical, organized. Sephira 3, Dot. Dot allows us to focus on an idea so that it becomes relevant and personally meaningful. It enables us to be attentive, principled, involved. Sephira 4, Chesed. Chesed is the power to love, share, and look kindly upon others. It enables us to be generous, optimistic, sociable. Sephira 5, Gevura. Gevura is the power of discipline and restraint. It enables us to be calculated, cautious, serious. Sephira 6, Tiferet. Tiferet is the power to empathize and to harmonize kindness with strictness based on the needs of others. It enables us to be balanced, empathetic, harmonious. Sephira 7, Netzach. Netzach is the power of determination to overcome challenge. It enables us to be persistent, forceful, daring. Sephira 8, Hod. Hod is the power of humility, gratitude, and submitting to a higher cause. It enables us to be thankful, devoted, accommodating. Sephira 9, Yesod. Yesod is the power to focus on others and to build genuine relationships. It enables us to be selfless, altruistic, loyal. And last, but not at all least, Sephira 10, Malchut. Malchut has multiple functions. It is the power of speech and action, effective communication and leadership, and to be receptive to others. It enables us to be leading, communicating, achieving. So there you have it, the 10 components of the human self.
So there you have it. The basic teaching that kind of gives you some information, but not really, doesn't really give you, information that is actually going to, empower you or, teach you anything, that you can grow from. It's just exoteric trash, because while it does, feel neat to look at yourself and say, oh, God made me this way, and here's how God made me. What it leads to is it leads to us believing that we create our own realities. And it leaves out the crown. It never spoke about the crown. Ketur. It's your crown. It could be seen as a fragment of the intention of creation. And it's inside of you. It's your spiritual link to creation. It's another sense. It's another sensory perception that is asleep in you. Or maybe it's not asleep in you. Maybe it's awake. I think some of us are waking. But it is a sensory perception that is asleep in you. And that, I think, is essential to a lot of things. So to kind of sum up what this video, what I'm trying to highlight in this video and I'm trying to show, it's like trying to describe a mountain one inch at a time, because the entirety of all of this is so massive that you can't digest it all overnight. It's crazy. Trust me, I've tried it. It's too much. It's too much. You need a break. Sometimes you need to just turn your brain off. But there's other parts of it. There's other elements to it that will get censored by YouTube and taken down, and then I'll just get silenced, and then I'm doing nothing, right? So I am going to be working on going up on a channel that we'll be sharing soon. You can probably find it on TikTok, and you can find our link tree here pretty soon, where you'll find all of our links in one place. I'm going to be putting together some deeper studies on some more of the taboo aspects of it that we're not supposed to talk about. We might be looking at different, doing kind of a synopsis, or even like a like a super deep dive course into different religious sects and religious beliefs that used to harbor a certain symbol that is no longer an acceptable symbol to write or speak about or say. But it's something that we're all kind of aware of a little bit and becoming more aware of as well. I think it's really interesting to see the rudimentary beliefs and the symbolism, and then, try to have them tell us that that just happened randomly, or, whatever it is they try to sell. We know it's not true, but so be looking out for that on our Patreon. Jake and I will be doing our reveal on the 30th of April. We announced that last night, and I know I'm excited about it because I think it gives us a lot of fun stuff to talk about, and I think it gives us a lot of theorizing to do and a lot of things to prove wrong. And that's the point of it. Let's disprove what we say. Let us throw out our ideas, and then let's get together and let's talk about it corporately, and let's disprove the shit out of it. Okay, prove us as fools. That's fine. Do it. Do it. Let's learn. Let's take back that esoteric knowledge that's been taken from us. All right, brothers, sisters, y'all have a great time. I will be talking to you again soon.